Shout out Big Steve.
What up, what up? Another episode of the Big Brand MMA, UFC Vegas 85 after a break. Speaking of regional breaks, I'll just quickly go over the review and we'll just get straight into it, shall we? So last week, no UFC. We had Octagon, we had ONE FC, we had LFA. LFA was $1,000 loss, had $100 on Foro, and $850 underdog. She lost the split. That was one of my favorite bets. Quite a shame. Came down to 2 minutes in round 3. Lost a unit on the Ferreira Silva under 1.5. Yeah, a little bit tilting. Went over by 20 seconds. Could have been over at any point. That's fine. 1/2 a unit on the Tulio under 1.5. That was close. That was actually a much worse bet, and he hit, and the better under didn't hit. So it is what it is. So yeah, I lost $1,000 there. Swept the Octagon. Had 1.5 units, 2,225 on McHugh to win 1,400. That should have been a 2-unit bet. I'm trying to get better with my staking. Holzer won. I pick him, won 770 there. And then I had Abby and my little short king, Bokayang from ONE FC, a little African midget. He's my new favorite fighter. Won $1,000 there. So swept ONE FC and swept Octagon. The other ONE FC bet was Yumiyasa, whatever the hell his name is, little piranha, to win 1/2 a unit there. So all up, almost $3,000 on the regionals. So that's good. You know, sometimes I like regionals better than UFC. 5,500 for the month. Could have been better. Some mistakes on the UFC. Same mistakes as 2023, but it's stuff I'm looking to fix. And yeah, looking to fix my staking too. Speaking of staking, here's a man that's not afraid to stake properly when he has a bet that he likes. Mr. Pepe, how are you, sir?
Yo, what's good, Steve? Thanks for having me on again.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. It's always a pleasure.
I'm glad I'm known for not being a pussy when it comes to making my bets.
Yeah, that's my thing now, bro. That's how do I make as much money as Pepe, you know?
I'm the gold standard.
Yeah, I consider us up there, you know, maybe I'm not going to say on air who I think is sharper, but you're definitely better at staking. No doubt in my mind. So I think there's always room for improvement, you know?
I think I'm just more aggressive.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, well, that's it. You know, being better. It's you know, being aggressive in the spots that you should be more aggressive, which is yeah.
Yeah, but then I mean, I probably have like bigger losing nights occasionally though, and I do have a bad card.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. I mostly lose barely big at all ever, but you're right. You lock your plays in more through the whole card, like in general. You have more plays every card.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. How you been, man?
Like I mean, as you know, like even if you like a spot and you go aggressive on it, there's usually a way where you can exit the play and not get fucked that bad. You know, it's rare that like I just get completely roasted in a spot because there's ways to arb and hedge too if you need to.
I agree, man. I agree. Back when I was more aggressive like yourself, you know, every second play I had every second fight I had to play on. But they didn't feel forced. I felt like I knew how every fight was going to go, you know. I also knew how to hedge out, and I would barely lose. But yeah, it's hard to do that when you have so much money. When the units are higher, then you kind of like using your whole bankroll. And yeah, my bankroll is kind of split now and full time, and you know I'm always taking it out. But hey, that's the target, man. That's the goal. Let's make some more money this year. And January wasn't bad. You know, 1.5 units is better than 1 unit. But I'm going to get to 2 units. I'm going to start smashing 2-3 units more frequently.
Yeah, and there wasn't as many opportunities as usual in January. It started off slow because of the break.
Yeah, it's one of those cards. I mean,
yeah, there was regionals and shit, but those were kind to us.
Yeah. I mean, there was a good chance to make money. That's why I'm a little bit annoyed, but it is what it is. Let's get into it. So this is not a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do the comments. Mr. X, BigSteve, Pepe, no semen retention. That's right. Kurt, this feels like a trap card from top to bottom. Let the dogs bite. Well, if it's a trap card, then I think me and Pepe are fucked. The 18, that's true. Zen Monkey always in with the same comment. Let's go. Parky. Subhuman. Let's go. Dix Insider. Hi. My style is similar to Pepe. Yeah, I don't know, Parky. You're a bit of a. I think you're more cautious than Pepe, to be honest. Sup, gentlemen? Andrew Witzak. Word on the street: Steve likes black midgets. The cat is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag.
Okay, so that's where Chad got that play from, because he came onto Twitter Spaces over the weekend and he kept telling everyone to play this black midget. I didn't realize he was just telling you.
Oh, he is. Yeah, I just Dog Hunter, the new guy in Discord. Shout out to him. I was like, I need a parlay with that Abby because he's a lock, and I just feel like wasting $1.33, parlay piece, and I don't want to go straight. And he's like, yeah, lock this black midget in from 1FC, and I taped him. I was like, dude, I love this kid. He's like 5'1", tiniest arms, built like a dwarf, literally, and he's just throwing these dudes around, cardio for days, and then that's how it started. I was like, boys, do we keep this, do we keep this midget? And then so some people added straight. He was minus 200, but he covered. He just mauled the guy for 3 rounds. So, yeah, he's an animal. Alrighty. Back on topic. Thomas Peterson versus Jamal Poges. So, I don't want to go for too long. This fight, I know Jamal is a popular dog. I'll be honest, taping Thomas Peterson, straight away I got it. I was like, right, this guy seems to be a little bit gassy. If this goes out of the 1, out of 2, I can see how there's a bunch of value on Poges. And then I started taping Poges, and I was like, no way. No way in hell for me. Yeah, there's so many red flags on Poges. He shouldn't be a heavyweight. I don't like that he can't get out of this first gear. I don't like that he doesn't have a plan B. I don't like that he gasses. Sure, there's questions about his takedown defense. Obviously, Polizzi, a middleweight, essentially, a small light heavyweight, was throwing him around. I tend to lean that being overweight and having more fat around his midsection, he's going to make his balance even worse. And Thomas Peterson is a pretty good single leg guy. Heavyweights, if you get a single, it's hard to keep balance. But even without the takedowns, I mean, I think Thomas Peterson's a decent striker from Southpaw. He's got more power than Poges. Poges is, he's losing rounds to the welterweight on Contender Series, blown up welterweight. He's losing rounds to Parisian on the feet. And he got 30-27 on the feet by Parkin, and Parkin's mostly a grappler in my opinion. So yeah, I just don't think he's going to fight for my money. So I'm passing. If I'm going to hit Poges, it's going to be like a live bet where I can see, Peterson just completely cardio die. And it's not going to be if he's 2-0 down, because I don't know if I can rely on him to finish a fight. So big pass for me at the moment. What about you?
I played Poges at plus 210, and it was interesting going back and looking at my previous bets on Poges, because I have gotten plus 210 on every single one of his fights that I've bet on. I bet Parkin at plus 210 last fight, and then I bet Parisian at plus 210 in his debut. So I think I kind of just have a system with the Poges fights, bet the big underdog, but he checks a lot of boxes as far as fighting the higher competition, being black, and Black History Month is February, so that doesn't hurt. And Peterson is making his debut. I think Poges is going to be the stronger guy. Yeah, I think he's a solid underdog spot in my opinion.
Fair enough. That's a much better line. That could bring a force of play out of me if I had that line, but who knows? Probably not still, because my hate for Poges is strong. You think he's going to be a stronger guy? I think at least Peterson's a pretty strong wrestler, natural heavyweight.
Well, Peterson is pretty gassy too, so you have to keep that into consideration. I don't think his control is the greatest. He's fought like a bunch of cans outside of Acosta, in my opinion. And I think Poges is a solid wrestler himself. He was throwing Parisian around.
Yeah, that guy's the worst takedown defense in the UFC, though.
Yeah. But Polizzi's a solid wrestler. I mean, granted, he was smaller, but he showed that he was able to get up. Yeah, I think Poges is more well-rounded in my opinion.
Yeah, I literally agree with everything, man. I even wrote down.
I think a lot of what it comes down to really is what kind of shape he's coming into, right?
Yeah, that too. I mean, look on his Instagram, and he just doesn't seem like someone that takes his career seriously, man. Like, I don't know. These all narratives, but from what I've seen on tape, it's not interesting me at all. And even that Waldo Acosta fight, the dude was winning till like half the way through round 3. I just don't see Poges, if he's losing, even 2-0 down, like coming back with a finish. He's just gonna. He might even gas extremely if he's getting wrestled. Who knows? But I'm not gonna argue with you back and forth. I mean, I'm gonna say good luck, and you have a much better line. And yeah, this is your kind of play, so high chance that it hits. I'll wait for weigh-ins. We'll see. Alrighty. Medeiros, Landon Quinones. I taped this one nice and early during break week. I thought Quinones' line is something that was off, and I don't know. I left thinking I can't get a read on this fight whatsoever. I felt thinking, yeah, there's value on Quinones, but I don't really want to lock it in. It felt like a binary striking fight for 3 rounds, which I'm not really good at capping, and I don't really have strong leans on, so I just completely passed. And now the line is closed in. I might retape and take Medeiros now because I felt like Medeiros was a slightly better fighter all around. But yeah, man, do you have anything more to add into me?
Well, I played Quinones at plus 160, and I thought that like a small favorite for Medeiros made a lot more sense than what the line was at. And I do think Landon is a little more comfortable on the feet than Medeiros is.
Mm.
Medeiros, you can tell he really doesn't like to get hit. He's a little squeamish when he gets hit, in my opinion. Whereas Quinones kind of just like walks through everything. He's a bit more of a zombie. My biggest concern for Landon is getting grappled. Although Medeiros isn't positionally sound really, but he grapples in a lot of his fights. But yeah, he's gotten reversed by low level guys. So, I don't think Quinones is completely fucked. And Medeiros can get lulled into staring contests. I think he can get out volumed by Landon. And yeah, I give the durability edge to Quinones as well.
Yeah, the durability is tough because I saw the same thing as you did on the back foot. Medeiros eats a lot of shots, and he kind of likes that technical game, right? Whereas Landon is, guard up, and I don't know if he's more comfortable striking, but he's definitely more comfortable eating shots, But then he gives up a lot of moments. I've seen him, wobble 3-4 times. And I like bet him. I like bet him against Nazareth. I thought he was the type of guy that comes in rounds 2 and 3, usually gets wobbled round 1, round 2, and then he gets the KO in the later rounds. Maybe that's something I play here, but I don't know. Like, I feel like both these guys are going to keep improving. It's like I said, it's on your line especially more value. There was probably value on the other one. It just I couldn't play it. I feel like even when Canona is winning, he might give up big moments because like he gets hurt a lot, and you both can wrestle. I think Canones can wrestle as well. But Medeiros impressed me. I completely forgot. I played him in Contender Series, but I completely forgot that he's got some wrestling in his back pocket. But yeah, I'm happy to pass on this one, man. I feel like there's better spots on the card, but you might have a better read than me.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a close 29-28 likely.
Yeah, I kind of lean that way too. You don't think anyone's getting knocked out?
I know it's possible. Like they both have a bunch of knockouts on their record, but they seem pretty durable. And Medeiros kind of seems like the kind of guy where if he's getting rocked, he'll just like not put himself in position to get hurt. You know what I mean? He kind of he tries to play safe, I think. He's not going to really invite a firefight, in my opinion, but there's not a huge sample size on either guy, and they're in their physical prime, so they're going to be improving from fight to fight.
Both are good gyms too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Medeiros will just wrestle if he gets hurt, if he gets cracked.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
now this Quinones guy is like hurts you and then he just swarms you. It's not like a one punch KO guy.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I know this is your specialty. Julia Stoliarenko versus Lana Carolina. Do you want to take it away?
I mean, I guess I'm not even like really that excited for this fight, to be honest. And my takeaway for this fight was that I think it's just lined accurate. Like small, slight favorite to Stoliarenko makes sense because she probably has more finishing upside, especially early. But it's a very volatile matchup. We don't really know how it could just turn into like a really ugly striking fight that you don't want any part of. You don't know how rounds are being scored. Just a lot of guesswork. As far as like market wise, they're both pretty much viewed pretty similarly. They were both massive underdogs to Molly McCann, and they only fought once. And yeah, Stoliarenko won, but I'm not going to take too much from that. I don't like to be too results oriented when it comes to that and MMA math shit. So I view them in a similar tier. Stoliarenko only has one fight at 125, and Carolina has shown that she can go 15 minutes and be consistent, whereas Stoliarenko has gassed multiple times. She doesn't have any decision wins, does she?
Nah. She's got one, which is a split right before the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, I thought this girl was really bad. I remember laying the juice on Avila back a couple of years back. So yeah, I have no interest to get involved in this fight.
Fair enough. Can't disagree. Yeah, I faded her a bunch. Santos and Avila and Alexis Davis. And actually played her last few. Molly and Jessica Rose Clark. Yeah, I agree. She's pretty inconsistent, especially with the weight cut and she's passing out on the scales at a weight class above, and then she drops down to 125 completely fine. So how seriously was she taking her career up to that point? Maybe this is new and improved Julia, but I want to wait for the weigh-ins. I want to see a lot of these people make the weight the first time, and the second time they fluff it. So we'll see. I'll wait for the weigh-ins. But yeah, Carolina's seen this matchup so many times, and she's pretty good at it. To be honest, she has a nice whizzer. She's hard to take down against the cage in the clinch. So, but I think Julia has one. She has one good double leg in her, right? She's got a good game plan where she comes forward, she hits a lot of shots, she convinces these girls to brawls with it, and then she times it, level changes. So she's got one of those in her. And I mean, Luana's been submitted in the first round, or almost submitted in the first round a bunch of times. But Taylor almost did it. Lipsky did it. Godinez almost did it. All right, so yeah, it's one of those black and white ones. I feel round one sub Julia, like always. It's kind of like a poke, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be dreadful this time around. And then I think $3.60 or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Was that a pun you made? The dreadful pun because her nickname is Dread?
No, I didn't, but I'll claim it. Thanks. I try to be modest with my puns and my jokes. Yeah, and then after that, I think Luana Carolina by live bet is pretty straightforward, right? I think she was I live bet her against Godinez. She's good, man. She's got cardio for 3 rounds, and yeah, Julia's just going to be so sloppy. We don't know what she looks like at round one at 125. So let's move on. Just I don't know what the word is. Is it a binary or is it a volatile fight?
I would say it's a binary volatile fight.
Nice, so both. Cool.
I guess, yeah, binary invites volatility.
Yeah. I mean, English is not my first forte, so I don't really know what those words mean exactly. So I just throw different words, different moments. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you take this one away because I feel bad about giving you that fight. Blake Builder versus Jong Yong Lee. What do you say?
I don't have a hot take for this one. It makes sense why Lee is the favorite. Builder has kind of showed himself for what he is, and he's 33 years old. Very sloppy regional footage. I just can't get there with Lee. I think he's got his own defensive striking problems like Builder does as well. But I think a lot of what this matchup comes down to is whether Lee is going to be able to stop the grappling of Builder, because I do think Builder is going to try to wrestle him and grapple him, and Lee did good in his last fight, but he hasn't been tested by that many people, in my opinion. Um, you know, he's fought a lot of cans regionally, so this is kind of a step up, I think. I know a lot of people think Yiza is a much better grappler than Builder, but I kind of think that Builder is more physical than Yiza. Yiza's like way more relentless, you know, has excellent cardio, but Builder seems like he's pretty strong for the division and he can be kind of opportunistic. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get like a standing rear naked on Lee early. Overall, I'm just going to pass and kind of gather more data on Lee.
Nice. I mean, I can't fault you at this current line. It feels, accurate at best. Maybe you could make the argument that Pick'em is accurate too. I personally played this a long time ago when I was going on my little streak of locking in early bets for the year when we had that big break. Pretty much all of them have been trash. Joe Dane, Johan, etc. But this one, it was one of my favorites because I locked this one in myself. No one said, "Hey, look into this guy," and it was my idea. I thought the line was off at Pick'em, and I locked it in. And look, I'm happy with it. I retaped again just to see if I will reduce. I have a full unit of Pick'em. Not really my play. I generally don't seem to find any value on Pick'em fights. But yeah, this I feel like Lee has a big favorite upside. Upon retape, I went deep into his tape. He does have some adversity, right? He lost to this Kim guy back in 2016. Keep in mind, he's like 20 there. And then he ended up knocking him out in the rematch, which is always good. The Choi fight, 2018, again, he's like 22 there, 23. And he's kind of getting hurt. I agree with what you said about his defense. He's got the typical Korean defense. He can definitely be hit in the pocket, which, it's good because his hands are extremely fast and he's a good counter striker. So I think in the pocket, Builder loses that fight 9 out of 10 times. Just because of durability and the speed and the power. So he was getting hurt there. He got dropped there, but he ended up, winning a decision because he dropped him a lot in round 3, right? Which obviously carries his power late. After that, man, he had a 2019 fight, and after that he took 2-3 years off, and then came back to road and was just, quick armbar, quick knockout, and kind of change in the physique. So I think he's still improving. The Ya fight, or Ya Z, whatever the hell it is, I actually do think that's a step up. Just like you mentioned, the relentlessness. I wasn't high on him until his second road to UFC. Like, the guy's crazy durable, cardio for days, keeps pushing the wrestling. I think Builder, and it breaks my heart because I've been on Builder against the guy in Contender Series as a decent sized dog. I played him against Young when the public made him a dog. After Pick'em, and I like fighters like Builder, opportunistic. They'll fight for your money. I can look past the holes of him getting dropped and stuff because he's going to come back and potentially still win. So he's a good underdog because of that. But yeah, that Carl Nelson fight just kind of reminded me. We saw more of that on the regionals. He used to be a lot more aggressive on the regionals and used to get dropped, and now he's adapted this style where he skirts on the octagon and just kind of doesn't want to get hit as much, which is probably good with his chin. Because Carl Nelson, extremely low volume, and he just kind of won rounds of hurting him multiple times. Round 1, round 2, he actually out-volumed him. He looks really bad in round 2. Young landed like 5 or 6 overhand rights over his jab in round 2. He looked dreadful in round 2. I don't know how one judge gave him a 30-27 in Australia as well. But that seems to be his worst round, and he seems to get a second win in round 3. But yeah, I just think Lee, bigger, taller, better reach. He showed me against Zhu that he can go against the relentless crotch sniffer for 3 rounds and defend most of the takedowns. When he got defended, he stood up, he protected his neck, protected his back. He hurt him a bunch of times in round 3, so again, carries his power late. I just think he's live to knock out Builder at any point. He's live to drop him. Builder, he can steal rounds if, not much happens because Lee's pretty patient. He does bite down and throw if he can get takedowns, but he's like 1 takedown over Young in 10 in his 10 UFC attempts. I'm not really impressed with his wrestling. Like you said, it's mostly opportunistic back takes, which is the scariest part. But yeah, I just think there's a lot going for Lee here, man. I think he can win on the feet. He's a black belt as well, apparently. And yeah, I think he had a knee ACL injury as well in that Zoo fight. And also, I want to just add before we go, I think he won rounds 2 and 3 pretty clear. I see people saying it was a robbery and the upkick and whatnot. I'll address that because that's the talk of the town. Round 2, he was getting crotch sniffed for. Round 1, he was getting crotch sniffed the whole time. So yeah, let's say give it to Zoo, even though damage is what really matters. Nothing happened. Round 2 was his best round. He hit him with a nice elbow on against the cage, hit him to the body, hit him with the right hand, stuffed all the takedowns, and then he got taken down with that takedown with 1 minute to go and did that up kick. If he didn't do the up kick and he stayed on his back, would he still lose the round? No, he landed all the shots, probably clear up Lee fight round, and then round 3, same. That's where he got the most moments. He had a nice overhand. He ripped the body. He did get taken down twice with a minute to go again. But he just got up, worked his way to the cage. If it's damage over control, then that's a clear Lee round as well. So, yeah, I don't understand the whole robbery talks.
I think the reason why is because a lot of the sharps were on.
Everyone was on him. I remember everyone was on him. And they
because
were losing their mind with that.
well because Yazi was like plus 200.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everyone hates Lee.
It's that and the upkick, and they were losing their marbles, and it's like, yeah, the upkick happened 1 minute in the fight. If it's not with 1 minute to go in round 2, the Z clearly lost,
Yeah.
But I get it. When I watched that round 3, and I'm like, dude, he's lighting him up. How is this? And then the 2 takedowns came, and I'm like, all right, all the people that had the plus 200 ticket, those takedowns probably got them all emotional, and they're like, oh, he won this fight, but they forgot all the knockdowns and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, it's a scary one, pick them. But I'm happy with it. I'm gonna let a unit roll, and it's the only player that's not a dog on this card. So hopefully it's not a sweat.
Well, good luck.
I talked a little bit too much about it, but I'm not gonna be talking as much about the ones where I don't have any plays.
Yeah, fair.
I have to get my thesis across, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of dogs. Themba Garimba, Pete Rodriguez.
Yo, Petey looks jacked in that picture.
Oh, he's very jacked, man. He's very jacked. Do you want to address this comment before we move on? No, wait. That's not it.
No, I think that's Cap.
This one, fucking Cap. I don't know what the hell that means, and I hate it. He's just Chad. He's just spamming that Cap shit in the Discord.
Cap means bullshit.
Yeah, I figured. I agree with Parky here, by the way. I think the under is more reliant on Lee finish. I guess, yes. And I do have an under at, plus 130. And I don't like it after retape. I just think, he's patient. The other dude's a weasel. Yeah. I don't like it. But I'll probably just hedge out. And whenever I lock these bloody early bet online things, I always get burned. I'm not good at them.
If Builder gets rocked, he's not going to go out cold, and Lee's going to follow him to the ground.
Exactly. But then again, this could be the one guy to put him out cold because Lee's a savage, man. Lee actually hits quite hard. But yeah, I'm just probably there's value on it, but I'm just going to hedge out. All right. What do you say, man? What do you say about Jack Pete Rodriguez?
So, yeah, speaking of unders, I ended up playing the under today for this fight.
1.5?
I think it's a solid spot, honestly. And I think Rodriguez is going to have I think he's going to have success early. I think there's a decent shot he finishes him in round 1, to be honest. I like Pete's boxing. It's very solid. All of his fights so far have gone under 1.5, except for one regionally. And Garimbo
that was an amateur one too, right?
Yeah. Garimbo's kind of aggressive, and I think we're getting a decent number because of the Sato fight, but Sato got dropped early in round 2 and nearly finished. I think with Pete's lack of experience, I think Garimbo would be able to finish him in that spot. So yeah, I think they're, and it's in the apex. I think it's going to be a slugfest, and one of them is going to go down early.
Yeah, I was looking at that under, nice and long, because I was surprised by that number. But yeah, then the more I thought about it, I can see Garimbo definitely ruining that under for me. I think Sato is like the most chiniest guy in the UFC by miles. And I don't think Pete is very chinny. I think he ate a lot of punishment from old mate. But yeah.
So how do
Um,
you see the fight going if it gets extended?
I don't know. That's the issue, right? That's the issue. But I definitely I'm a Grimbo hater, right? I'm a Grimbo hater. I played AJ Fletcher at Juice in his debut. That tells you all you need to know. And I mean, I thought he covered personally. And he hurt him there before the guillotine. And then I think I threw away money on Grimbo on Sato over Grimbo. And I thought that was a bad play live because obviously he killed him. And then I rewatched it, and he couldn't take Sato down round 1, and Sato was throwing him around with his judo background. And then round 2, like you said, lucky he got dropped. Otherwise, probably wouldn't have hit a takedown. And then round 3, Sato again took him down, and I'm like, Grimbo's awful, man. The main reason he won that fight is he's relentless. You know, he just keeps pushing the pace, and even though he's losing, even though he can't hit takedowns, he just keeps going for it. And then Sato is a bit of a numpty, a flake. And then I was like, all right, if I hit the under here, maybe that would be the safer option. In case Pete doesn't knock him out, maybe he can break Pete. But I don't like his wrestling. I don't like his power against someone that's not chinny. I don't like his rear naked choke offense. Like he couldn't submit Sato for 3 rounds. So
neither could Gunnar Nelson.
Yes, neither could old mate. But yeah, Gustafsson has no urgency with chasing the neck, man. Paddy Pimblett showed him how to chase the neck one fight after that on the same card. Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna have to poke something. I remember thinking Grimbo is extremely chinny, and then those feelings came back to me, and I'm like, I have to take advantage. So I don't know. I think you could be right, man. You could be right. The under could hit, but I feel like if it's gonna hit, it's definitely gonna be Pete Rodriguez. And then I was gonna play some Pete round 1, and then I saw a lot of Themba's KOs at the early part of round 2. So then it's like, man. Maybe I just play this under 1.5. Maybe if Pete gets like backpacked and survives, I reckon he could still have some juice in round 2 to just come out and knock him out when they start on the feet. So I'm definitely playing something on this fight. Maybe I just tell you on the under. Maybe I play around fight ends in round 1 or 2. We'll see.
Yeah, Pete round 2 KO is probably a big number.
It is. But then it's like, yeah, I feel like round 1 pretty live. But yeah, we agree, man. I might even just put like a quarter unit on Rodriguez, and like it's plus 200. It's the best value. Do you think he's got a money line path? He's been at the lab for more than a year, since before he fought Mike Jackson.
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, there's just a lot of unknowns with him, right? Just because we haven't seen him extended in quite some time. So, yeah. I mean, he's only 27, you know what I mean?
Yeah, from when I taped him extensively, I haven't done it this time. When I looked at his like snippets of his regionals and amateurs, he seemed well educated with underhooks, and he seemed like a strong offensive wrestler himself. So I think the physicality here will be massive. I think he can actually throw Grimbo around if he wants to early. But yeah, I think a couple of tough takedowns will put some fear into Grimbo.
Yeah, I like Pete's boxing quite a bit.
Oh yeah, his boxing is great. I don't understand the hate on Pete, to be honest. I don't think he's fought anyone. He's fought Jack Della, and it's like people are crapping on him. It's like, we don't know how good he is, man. Like, can't be shitting on him from getting knocked out by Jack Della.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh well, let's ship it. Let's ship some Pete early round 1 KO. All right, now we're up to your favorite fighter, Charles Johnson versus Hazat Maksum. I'll let you have the honors, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know that I played Johnson in his last fight, and I had Johnson in round 3 also, and it was just a typical Johnson performance. I knew he was going to get taken down in one of the rounds. I just didn't think he was going to get controlled for 2 rounds. I thought Estevan was going to gas sooner than he actually did, and then he just didn't put it on hard enough when he knew he was down 2 rounds to like just go crazy and get the finish. And yeah, he's kind of had that problem his whole career where he lets his opponent dictate the pace. And although he's a cardio guy, he doesn't push a pace on guys. He doesn't know how to take advantage of his own cardio, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I'm not interested in playing him in this spot with Maksum. We don't know too much about him. I think a lot of people think he's mid because the non-performance where it was a split decision. He was a minus 400 fighter. A lot of hype on the guy. They were expecting him to, blow through Nam, but Nam has really good takedown defense. He's tough to grapple. That was the first time that he had been taken down in the UFC. And, Maksum attempted 11 takedowns. On the regionals, he's grappling guys way more proactive than he was in his UFC debut. So I know he's capable of grappling. I'm not sure how it's going to look when the two of them grapple. So I have no interest in the fight, really. But yeah, I guess I'll pick Maksum by decision.
Nice, man. I agree with everything, and I lean that way too. I have no interest either, unless I maybe play that Maxim decision. I think again, I think maybe Charles has a bit more value this time than the last fight. I played, I played the other side at Pick'em. I thought I kept that fight perfectly. I knew that round 3 was going to be a sweat, especially when he missed weight. If it was anyone else other than Charles needing a round 3 finish, I probably wouldn't have been so confident. But like you said, he just doesn't know what to do when he needs a finish, right? He's just like a death by 1,000 cuts guy. I think in this one, he's fighting a guy that's probably he can look more value against, right? Azat or Azama, whatever it is. No, it's Azat. He's more like a Makaev mold. So he'll probably shoot a lot of takedowns on. You see on regionals shooting a lot, and he's got great wrestling. Probably the best wrestler he's fought up there, but not the greatest jiu-jitsu, not the greatest control. So Johnson can probably get Matt returned a bunch of times, but he'll get up easily, right, due to the jiu-jitsu, and then it's like, it's going to look value again, and it's like, I'm tempted on Johnson, but unlike the other fighters that he's fought, I think Azad has decent striking, man. I've seen him drop people. He cracked Nam a bunch of times with a nice right hand. So it's like one of those ones, there's probably value on Johnson. Azad probably wins a minus EV decision, mixes in. He's probably going to shoot a lot more than against Nam. I agree with everything you said. Nam is probably a tougher matchup, even though he's quite low volume. So, Azad by decision. It's probably going to be trash. It's probably going to be like barely plus money. And I find it hard to trust Charles Johnson, to be honest. Someone with lack of power and everything.
What's the over-under?
The over is going to be juiced to the tits. Let me just check now. Yeah, like a female fight. Over 2.5 is $1.40, man.
What do you like? How do you see a finish happening?
I could see like some underrated power on Azad, and Azad puts his head in chokes, which Charles likes, but I don't think either of them is going to happen. I don't think he's going to be the first one to KO Charles, and I don't think Charles is going to submit him with his chokes. So, but those would be my two options.
Yeah, it's probably accurate. It might be a parlay piece, but I don't know. You feel like a fish if you bet that, and then fucking Maksum chokes him out, or
Yeah, I think he's got underrated finishing power. Maksum, he's still young, man, but he's fighting a guy that's like impossible to finish. So, yeah, the whole fight is a bit of a mess. Best mess for me, to be honest, or accurate, should I say? Big Bird puts it nicely. It's funny. This Johnson, most well-rounded opponent of recent date, but the most winnable match stylistically. Yeah, it's going to be like Mokaev. Like Mokaev 30-27 because he was relentless with the takedowns. Maxim probably won't be that relentless, but he can get him anytime he wants. That's the thing. He's just
over
1.5 parlay piece. I can't do it. Not at that price. It's even though it's probably like a lock. All right. Let's move on. Molly McCann, Diana Belbita. So this fight is one of the ones that I haven't taped 1 second of. I know Molly's dropping to 125. That's probably good for her. She's always, or 115, pardon me. She's always been tiny. It's probably good for her. She was a bit chubby. But yeah, she beat the piss out of Diana. I don't think Diana's improved much. She's the same old. She's probably just in better shape. I got nothing, man.
Yeah, so it's obviously you can't lay the juice on McCann. First time going down to 115, and she's like minus 300, 6 years older, smaller. And if you go back and watch the last fight, Belbita can hang with her on the feet, uh, just because of just sheer volume. But I don't know. I think McCann was like partying and like just living super unhealthy then, because she'd always talk about like drinking and posting food with like McDonald's and shit. I think she was just like super unhealthy. Her cardio didn't look great either. So she seems to be in better shape. I saw that she was in a grappling tournament recently, and all of her success against Belbita was getting takedowns, right? And she hunted a couple submissions and just had some really bad positional awareness to get the sub. But I think the sub is live in this spot, and Belbita's been sub multiple times. It's not difficult to get her. If she's like purely been focusing on her grappling, I think she's attempted subs in a bunch of fights. I remember she almost had one on Procopio.
Yeah, the black
So
belt. I remember that too.
yeah, so that was close.
It was very
And
close.
yeah, so I think she's gonna try to get the submission in this fight.
You just brought memories back. I bet McCann by finish in their first fight, and I was so tilting. She was beating the piss out of her. I remember being so tilted, but I was a bit more of a casual back then. I think it was pretty juiced. But I'm like, this chick, this girl's regional tape was dreadful, man. Belbita's, and I was like, with this girl against Molly McCann on short notice, she's gonna kill her, and she just put a beating on her. But yeah, I think I might have to look into the finish, look into the props.
Yeah, she even tried to get a standing triangle on Belbita, like the one Andrade got on Lemos.
Yeah, yeah, those are like super low percentage. Tells you about Lemos's submission defense. Yeah, maybe the under, man, 310. I might have to go back to the well, on for this time on a serious Molly McCann. Like she will look for the finish, man. She will the stuff that she did to Carolina Dredd, who I consider durable, man. She was just beating the piss out of her. Yeah, that could be a way to look at it. When I finally tape it, I'll keep that in mind. It's a good breakdown. Alrighty. I think we're gonna finally line up on something here. So maybe I'll let you go first. Gilbert, Urbina, Charles, Radtke.
Oh yes. Um yeah, so I view these fighters in a very similar tier, right? Like they have the same amount of experience, fought similar level of competition. I guess the only like truly good fighter they have fought, Urbina fought Brady, but I've heard people say that he gave Brady some problems, but I didn't really see that. He got dominated, he got taken down easily, and Brady's improved so much since when they fought.
Mm.
And I just think the line is very off in this spot. I think Radtke is live to work some takedowns on Urbina. I think he's going to have the grappling upside. The guy's a black belt, and I think he's getting a lot of disrespect because of his performance against that bum in Australia, Blood Diamond, which I get it. Like it wasn't a good look, but in other fights, he's gotten the takedown. He's a tough son of a bitch. Like he has a good chin. So yeah, I think it's more of an even fight than the line suggests. Um, I think Urbina is a little bit wilty. I think the battle look was really bad. I think Battle looked terrible as well. He looked out of shape. I didn't like how when Battle locked the choke in, Urbina didn't fight the hands whatsoever. Got an easy rear naked choke. Radtke's grappling against Forrest for the CFFC title. I thought that was pretty impressive. You know, he made the right adjustments when he got taken down to flip positions. And I don't see why he won't be able to do that to Urbina. Urbina has been taken down very easily in the past. So yeah, I think there's a lot more upside with Radtke as a big underdog. And Urbina is super, super hittable on the feet.
Yeah, man. Hate to say, but I agree with almost everything. Urbina is someone that it's tough to get a read on him, man. Tough to get a read, with his tape being like when he's a lot younger and middleweight. And I did play him. That was the reason I couldn't play him massively against Kosuke. That was like a narrative bet with Kosuke being just trash and all the injuries, and he hurt his rib in that fight. So that was like an easy bet. Hindsight could have gone bigger. But, that showed that Urbina maybe has potential. But he also still looked to slow down in round 2. But, at 27, he's got a little bit of upside. But it didn't answer many of my questions, Didn't like how he kept walking into Gore's punches. The stuff against Battle was good, but Battle's always getting taken down and stuff and starts slow. So he didn't really answer my questions. And then I looked at Radtke. Again, this was a fight that I taped in my week off because I thought this line is a bit crazy. I had echoed the same sentiments about these guys probably being similar regional level guys like LFA or CFFC champions. I don't see Urbina being like a standout in LFA. Maybe a champion at best. And Radtke, man, is extremely well-rounded, right? Like you said, a black belt. Comfortable. He's got a nice Kimura trap. He almost triangled Chris Gonzalez from Bellator in the last second of round 3. Extremely deep triangle. I was like, man, this guy's good. He got backpacked by Jonathan Piesma in CFFC, but that was that was a high-level grappler, black belt as well, and he survived. And then, I like his scrambles. Like you mentioned, I like the Forrest fight where he just a good sleek back take. Got to edit that word out before that. Just he's got power in that left hand. I know a lot of people mention, he's got that left check hook, and Urbina had a lot of check hooks from Gore, and that's a lot of those obvious things sometimes don't happen in fights, but it's there, right? If anything, that hook is there, and I agree that Blood Diamond fight was bad, but I left thinking this guy couldn't even use his wrestling, and he still won because he was lighting up a guy with a kickboxing background. He just kept wobbling and hurting Blood Diamond. And I think Blood Diamond is durable from taping his Australian regional tape. He's durable, and I think Urbina might be knocked out by some of those left hands, right? They were clean, and he was wobbling all over the octagon. It was clean on the chin. And yeah, sure, Blood Diamond is like got no boxing whatsoever, and he's unorthodox, and his hands are low. But Urbina is more like a kicker as well. So I don't know. When I taped this a week ago, I had a pause. I don't know why I paused. I thought maybe because I can't get a read on Urbina. I was like, he's longer, he's taller, he's younger. He kicks, he can teep to the body. He KO'd Kosuke by breaking his rib with a teep, and then he finished him in round 2. But then again, that's just Kosuke. I will add, Radtke might be 33, but he only just recently went full-time. He started taking his career seriously, and I think you can see improvements in his later CFFC fights. And he's now he's at a good gym. He's with Bilal Muhammad. I do have questions with his durability. Right, heard a bunch of times, 3-4 times on regionals, and Blood Diamond kind of cracked him, and just Justin Montalvo just ran through him. But yeah, I mean, at this current odds, man, I see him not that much apart. I see a lot on Radtke's side. Like, he's got the power, he's got the boxing, his wrestling's average, but he's an educated black belt. I think he's tough. I think birthday cardio is kind of nothing special. So it's one of those ones, like, I don't know how it plays out. I give Urbina the favorite, but there's got to be a ton of value on Radtke. So it's either a ton of value or a little bit of value, because Urbina should be the favorite, so there's not that much if I give him 60% or something. So I ended up with half a unit at plus 180. I think that's the highest the line got. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can tell me. But I'm happy with that, man. I'm happy with that, even though I can't see exactly how the fight goes. It's a numbers one. This is a numbers one, and whatever. As long as this goes to a decision, which I think it will, I think he's going to look value, Radtke. But hopefully he finishes him.
What that guy said, Urbina is 6 years younger and 5 inches. I think
Yeah,
people
Andrew, but
I think people put a little too much stock into that kind of shit. Like, you still have to factor in their actual skill level.
yeah, I mean that's just like that means absolutely jack shit, man. Like, Cejudo's 35 and he's a midget, and like, yeah, I mean I get it. It's if Urbina actually fought long, which he did in his last fight, he was using the teep. It might mean something, but I still saw him get cracked by Kosuke a couple times. Like he doesn't really have an educated defense. But yeah, I mean, I do think he should be favored because he's younger and he has a lot of upside, but it's hard to gauge it. It's hard to
Yeah.
gauge. But I think
The,
we got a lot more questions about Radtke because there's
the
so much tape on him.
Urbina got his back taken multiple times in his Combate fight, and I don't rate that guy whatsoever. Radke's a much better grappler, way more dangerous. I think he's gonna submit Urbina.
Yeah, I think Urbina's best thing is grappling, and I think it kind of gets nullified here. So that's another thing. Because I was really impressed by Radke's jiu-jitsu. I forgot that he was a jiu-jitsu guy because he's just knocking people out with his boxing. But yeah, let's move on. We're on the same side. Hopefully this is not the mush. But yeah, upon retape, I was like, I don't know why I didn't play it a week ago. So yeah, numbers game.
I think Urbina is the mush.
Well, I usually mention mush when I see a lot of Twitter people on it. I haven't seen anyone on Urbina.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on Twitter on Urbina.
No, interesting. I saw one guy. I'm not going to name him because I respect him, but he got a better line. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be playing Urbina at any favorite line because I feel like there's no value, to be honest. I feel like Urbina is more like the Jared Gordon and the Casey O'Neill. Like we're all on Lipsky, we're all on Flick, we're all on Radtke, and then just like the Urbina line, and they just keep going down and down. And it's probably someone with a lot of money, but doesn't really have a Twitter following.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Sometimes books just hang lines for a while too to entice people or to keep them parlaying, in my opinion.
You reckon, even if money comes in?
I mean, it's different if like heavy money comes in, But if it's not that much money, then I think they keep enticing lines out there.
Fair enough. Well, I hope it's one of those contrarian ones because, as I mentioned, those Lipsky and those Flick bets have been good, and you like contrarian ones too. So, speaking of which, speaking of a numbers game, Alishbov, Kizriev, Makhmudmuradov. I'll take this one away as well, mate, because I'll let you go the other one. Yeah, so this is the other popular dog, Makhmudmuradov, that has taken a lot of steam the last couple of days after Kizriev was steamed early. So this is another one that I taped early. Yeah, my friend said look into this. It's a 2-unit play. I respect my friend a lot. He had a big play on Lipsky as well, and yeah, he's killing it this year so far. I'm just plugging my laptop in, and yeah, I looked into it and I got it. I understood it because the line was a bit better on Kizriev. Actually, now it's come back to that line that he got. And whatever Kizriev does, Muradov is bad at it. He hates the pressure. He slows down. He's on the back foot, but he kind of slows down from constantly being on the back foot. Takedown defense seems decent, but I mean, we've seen him get broken by people like Jared Mershart. He can be a bit hittable too. So yeah, I get it. And Kizriev, he does exactly that. He might not be the perfect fighter, but he's just a gorilla that just keeps coming forward. He seems durable to me. I personally left it. I taped it and I left it because I couldn't play that favorite upside, favorite line. I didn't know how much value was on it. And then I saw that he had a knee injury. And yeah, I was just like, I can't. I get that he probably wins, but I just don't see much value. And then as the week went on, those narratives were coming in. They were flying in my head, and everyone started playing it. Everyone started playing it. And then everyone I ask, it's all the same. Kizriev used to be a welterweight. He's smaller. The long layoff, the knee injury, and it's like, yeah, I get it, but like, if those narratives don't end up coming to fruition, then I don't know. And I retaped it this morning, and I actually locked in plus 140 on Bet365's tail line for a unit. because he moved everywhere else. I didn't expect it to move that much overnight. It's basically extremely close line now. But yeah, I just felt the same. I felt the same. The one decision, the most recent decision against Yamamoto, Kizriev just kind of mauled him for 3 rounds. He had a bit of time on the feet where he looked uncomfortable, but he throws hard as well, and he seems quite durable. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to trust Muradov. I think the guy's a bit overrated, and his game is, if he had more power or something, or if he wasn't so negative, or if he had more straight punches, like Dennis, for example. A lot of people reference Dennis doing well against Kizriev until he was finished, but Dennis pressures. He pressures and he throws straight punches, right? Muradov concedes the center of the octagon, and which is going to give Kizriev, the center, and will make his striking look better, and he'll make the wrestling look better as well. And it's probably going to make the rounds closer because Muradov, a lot of people think he has power, but I don't know. I think he needs the perfect shot. So yeah, now the line is closed in. I don't know. I feel like it's maybe accurate. I guess those early lines are good. I probably would have taken half a unit just because it's if he doesn't finish Muradov, then yeah, it can be a little bit sweaty. But Muradov gasses too. They're both gas, and Muradov actually had a knee injury as well after the what's his name, Barberena fight. A lot of people don't know that he had an injury there, and I thought he looked bad in there, man. I mean, he was able to wrestle a welterweight Barberena, but yeah, he's still gassed out, and yeah. So at the moment, it's a clear pass for me, but yeah, everyone that I know is on Muradov, so I feel like this feels like a mush to me. This dog right here. What do you say?
Well, I hope not. I was one of the few people, or one of the many people, as you say, that got in when the line blew out. And, like you had mentioned that a lot of, or some of it is, based on the narrative of him being undersized and less physical and one fight in 4 years. And like, I get that. And some people don't want to bet into volatility like that. But when you're getting like a moderate underdog with those kind of questions on the other side, I think the size advantage is going to be pretty big here. And I also do give some credence to the idea that Kizriev was on steroids before he came to the U.S. because on the regionals they don't test for them, and then when he came over here, like, his physique is completely different. So is he going to have the same cardio that he did when he was at 170 in phenomenal shape, now that he's a little puffed up 185er? We don't know.
No, without it's a good question.
So, I think with the amount of questions that I have on Kizriev, and, there was only a couple moments in that fight with Tululin where, on the feet, he looked very uncomfortable. He didn't like getting hit. Yeah, it just leads me to believe that he's going to fold under some adversity later on in the fight. And
Fair.
I get why you say Muradov is overrated, but usually Muradov is like a minus 300 favorite in his fights. So yeah, it's a bit of a fade on the Kizriev side. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't mind a ton of questions. I play where there's a ton of questions. For example, Pete is definitely getting my money this week, and I think there's a lot more questions there. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel there's a ton of questions on Kizriev on everything. Like, I watched every fight available, and I don't even see him hurt or cracked. So it's like there's questions about chin, there's questions about cardio. I mean, cardio looks good back then, right? So it's like not as many questions. It's just will he be good at middleweight? Yeah, I don't know, but it's like I tell myself, if it's that same guy that went to a decision against Yamamoto, which is like his best win as well, then I think the line is accurate and he should just look, And I see him kind of looking uncomfortable on the feet, but I don't see him like flaking at all. He just seems like one of those durable Russians to me. He just doesn't. I don't really see fear in his eyes. But look, it seems to be a good bet. Like, you and a lot of people I respect are on it. Just that one guy that has 2 units on Kizriev is on the other side, but I think it's one of those ones that's just sit back and watch and live bet. But I'm competing on Sunday, so I won't even have a live bet, unfortunately. But good luck to you, sir.
What do you think of the over-unders?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, man. I was looking at that 1.5. Gerard Meerschaert broke him, and he gave up his back twice, round 1 and round 2. And he knows that Meerschaert has a good rear naked choke. I don't know why he gave his back up there. And Kizrev is a great back taker. Great back taker. I don't know. The under 2.5.
Yeah.
The under 2.5 is pretty good. I didn't expect that.
What did you say? The over 2.5?
The over is $1. It's almost plus money, but the under is $1.76. It's like a little bit under pick'em. So I'm surprised by that.
I kind of see it going over, to be honest.
Yeah. If you got it going over, then Muradov is the play for sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I could play anything, man. I could play anything here. I agree with your play. I could play the favorite. I could play the over. I could play the under, which generally means I should pass the fight. Alrighty. Speaking of passing the fight, Viviane Araujo, Natalia Silva. This is the other fight I didn't tape. I just taped Natalia Silva's Andrea Lee fight because that was the only one I didn't have as much memory of. She beat the piss out of her. I remember regretting passing on the, whatever it was, the parlay or something. I thought it was going to be competitive. But yeah, Silva's got a lot going for her, man. She hits like a dude. She's explosive. She sits on her punches. Yeah, beautiful distance management. But there has to be some value in Vivi, right? I do regret not playing her against Maya. That one bothered me. I don't know why I didn't. But yeah, she's always got competitive fights, man. She's competitive against Grasso. Ribas a little bit less. She got cracked there. I thought she'll beat Caitlin Chookagian to this day. Every time I rewatch that fight. So yeah, I'm sure she can be competitive, but yeah, it's tough to get in the way of Natalia Silva. She's a lot better than her little sister, who you faded. Congrats on that. But yeah, I got nothing here. I don't want to talk without tape, but obviously the line is a bit steamed.
Yeah, I'm passing on this too. I actually didn't tape it either. I just knew that it's obviously a dogger pass just because of just the way that I bet. It has to be a dogger pass when there's a hype prospect getting a step up in competition and you're getting the older step up in competition at a huge underdog price. But the problem is, I do believe in Silva's talent. I don't want to keep throwing money away trying to fade her. I tried to fade her with Lee, and I think Lee, it was a small bet. It was like around plus 300, around the same price that Vivi is. And I thought Lee looked completely washed in that fight. It's like Silva didn't even look that great, but Lee just wasn't like really trying to do anything to implement her game. I thought she was going to try to get takedowns, like the Macy Barber fight where she proactively grappled and looked much better. Like she didn't even really try to mix it up whatsoever. So that was just frustrating. And now I just don't really want to get in, this pattern of now trying to fade Silva because I like her skill set as a prospect. And on top of that, I didn't bet Vivi against Maya either. And I think the reason why the both of us passed on that is because of how bad she looked against Ribas. And she kind of has these inconsistent performances, and she can be rocked on the feet. Ribas isn't really known for her striking that much, especially early in fights. And, she made easy work of Vivi. So it just leads me to believe that Silva should be safe.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think Maya was going to replicate that, to be honest. I think Maya's quite harmless. And the reason I wanted to play is because she's a turtle. And I thought maybe Vivi can surprise everyone with a bit of wrestling, which is what happened. But I think Ribas, there's a few things I found out last few fights. I think Ribas has underrated power, right? Obviously, she got that last knockout, which was attritional based. But I also have this feeling that maybe Vivi is now kind of chinny, right? Which I used to think she had an iron chin. Not just the Ribas fight, but, the Lee fight. She got hurt a bunch of times. Yeah, it was a head kick, but yeah, it's just something to keep an eye on. I don't know if I will take this fight. It's probably a decision. I'll probably lose money on Talia Silva KO if I force it. So let's move on.
Yeah.
High level fight for women's though. Should be good. Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikhov. So this fight, despite what everyone's saying, I actually felt compelled to play Muslim the first time this fight was booked. I just watched a bunch of Brown fights and, the Luque fight. Now, I thought that was kind of similar matchup. I saw him getting eaten up by leg kicks. And I was like, oh, this is Muslim. I could just see Muslim staying on the outside, throwing leg kicks. And then I saw Randy's chin. Then I saw him go to a 29-28 against Wellington Turman. And I was like, man, this could be a low spot on Muslim, who everyone thinks is old and washed. And, I didn't really go deep enough to lock in a play. And then the fight got cancelled. And I haven't revisited it this time around. But it's still a dog or pass for me. I mean, a guy that's as chinny as Brown, that messes around in there. He's got all the tools, but he usually goes to a close decision. I think Muslim has a decent fight here. I mean, he was doing well against Dalby until he got broken by the cardio and the pace, something that Randy Brown doesn't do. Brown, yes, can probably mix in takedowns here, so it's probably going to be a pass. But yeah, it's Muslim or pass for me, man. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm just like pass in general. I don't really want to get involved in this fight. Yeah, Brown. Every Brown win is sweaty.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so he's either going to get rocked at some point or just win like a close decision. There's no. It's really hard for me to imagine him just running through Salikhov. Salikhov is always good early on in the fight too, and Brown's got his durability issues to the head, to the body. You can hurt him anywhere, and
legs everywhere.
Yeah, his takedowns aren't great. He just has like an awkward frame, which makes it difficult for him to keep himself safe.
Yeah, I mean, we agree. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Save some time. I just want to say that Trinaldo fight versus Randy Brown, I feel robbed.
Did you have Trinaldo?
I bet him live after the second. I thought it was 1-1. And then Trinaldo took him down and stayed on top of him for 5 minutes. I'm like, cash, let's go. Yeah. And then they gave 29-28 to Brown. I was like, this guy's such a weasel. He always weasels out decisions that are competitive.
Even the Chaos Williams one was super fucking close.
Well, he got dropped, and he hurt, and they just gave it to him somehow. But to be credit to him, he got up and he put a ton of volume to try win the round back. So he does a lot of stupid stuff, but he was smart in that one. Alrighty. Yeah. The comments have built up quite a bit. So let me just quickly address some, and then we'll finish off the last two fights. FIFA Gaming. Steve, did you bet Muradov? I did last night $1.40 because I didn't have time to tape. It was midnight, and then it moved. I don't know how I feel if I'll keep it. Obviously, I can't tip it out, but I don't know, man. This fight, I might just cash out. It's on Bet365, so I can cash out. What's this one? Where do you compete at, BigSteve? I compete at 66 kgs, and it's on Sunday, and I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm sick. I'm like, I got diarrhea and shit. I'm gonna call them up and say, can I move to 70? Otherwise, I'll lose $90. But yeah, I messed up there. I should have entered 70.
Are you cutting weight right now?
I am. I did a sauna on Monday. I didn't eat anything. I did a sauna yesterday. I didn't eat anything. I've been training with an empty stomach, and I just started feeling down, like my immune system, and I'm like, my body's like banged up from being like dehydrated when I train, and just makes me want to pull out of the comp. But I had a neck injury as well, so like I forced everything to come back for this comp because I really wanted to do it. When I just don't think my body's ready. Usually I'm 66 when I'm in shape, but I'm not in shape, so I'm like 70 now. But we'll see how I feel. I also ate a lot yesterday, so all that hard work I did just got ruined. All right, this fight. Do you mind if I take this one, man?
No, take it away.
So this fight was an easy pass for me, personally. Easy pass. It was hard to get a read on. It was hard to get a read on the over-under. I think Renato Moicano should be the favorite because he's cleaner and He's got a better game plan and a lot more skills that he can mix together. Whereas Drew Dober is a bit hittable and he just relies on his chin and he's more of a bulldog. And he's got holes with his submission stuff, blah blah blah, takedown. We all know that. But he just what it comes down to, I think these guys are on a similar level, right? Dober was ranked at one point. I think he's right there. If he's not top 15, I think he's top 20. I think he knocks out a lot of people that are ranked. I mean, he knocked out Bobby Green. I think he was unlucky to lose to Frivola. Knocks him out more often than not. And yeah, I think they're on the same level, right? I don't know. I think Moicano is ranked now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's more of a 15 to 20 guy as well myself. That chin is awful. And like I said, it was a pass, and then someone smashed Moicano, and then I ended up playing Drew Dober at plus 165. It's just a no-brainer to me. Yeah, it's volatile. I'm essentially just fading an insta sub from Renato Moicano in round one. I think Dober can be taken down, but he has a couple of get-ups in him. I watched the Dariush fight. I actually had Dober in that fight, and he got taken down. He did stuff a lot of the takedowns. He got up. He had his back taken. He shook Dariush off, and then Dariush looked to be gassing. Same thing in the Moicano fight. Moicano took down Hernandez. Hernandez kind of gorillaed him, defended the back, and then Moicano just proceeded to look a bit gassed and give up that round. He always gets hit. He always looks extremely chinny. Pretty much anyone that's beat him has knocked him out. And, who has IDA done that to? He's wobbling him all over the place. I rewatched that fight again, and, IDA was a southpaw, and his left hand couldn't miss. So it's a no-brainer, If Moicano doesn't just take him down instantly and rear naked choke him, I think this is going to be competitive. I think he's going to hate the pressure that Dober puts on him. Dober will get hit. Renato has got nice long punches. He's quite serviceable on the feet. But he can probably take him better than, not probably, definitely can take him better than Moicano. So this is another system number play. I just don't get it. Whoever steamed it, probably some square. So yeah, easy play for me. Half a unit, just because again I think Moicano should be the favorite, maybe 60%. So I don't have that much value. What is he, like $70.65, 70, 75? So it's not a big play, but yeah, half a unit, another dog. What could go wrong?
Yeah, I think Dober is the sharp side for sure. I feel pretty decent about him, especially at this number. It's pretty crazy. Like, I was considering him at evens, and I ended up passing. And it's going to be a super fun fight. So I was kind of just thinking, I'll just sit back and watch this one, enjoy it as a fan. Sometimes it's nice to, not have to root for a gambling side and just be able to like watch it sweat free. Look at that. The Tapology votes are 50-50 too. I viewed it the same way. I thought it was a 50-50 fight. But yeah, after the big move towards Moicano, I think it opened up a lot of value on the Dober side. And yeah, it's basically a fade on Moicano's chin, but he's shown multiple times that he can't eat power strikes. So I think this is the first person with true one-punch knockout power that he's fought in quite a while. And I definitely feel good about Dober at plus 150. What'd you say you got on plus 165?
Correct, on BetOnline.
Yeah, so I have him at plus 155. I think that's solid.
Yeah, my capping is not perfect, so I always try to be conservative. So I give the guy that I'm fading favorite odds, so I don't overexpose. But this could be anywhere from Pick'em to Dober looking big favorite, right? So
yeah,
I don't even think Dober slight dog is a bad play. It's just depends how you cap it really. So I didn't want to. I wanted more meat on the bone, which we got yesterday, thankfully.
I was watching the Korean Zombie fight with Moicano, and
same. I wasn't gonna go that far back, but I watched that too.
Yeah, and then did you notice what his odds were?
Yeah, it was a big favorite. I remember that.
Korean Zombie was plus 160. So it's like the same exact thing that has happened with this line. And they even said it on the broadcast. They're like the sharps are on Moicano and move the line, and the public is on Korean Zombie. And it showed his line, and it was plus 160. So it's like the same exact line that it is right now.
Dude, I noticed the exact same thing, man. That's the thing that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then I locked it in. No, I'm joking. I taped the other fights. I actually taped the rest, and I was like, I'm glad I went back. What I noticed is everyone that hits Moicano, I thought maybe his chin thing was overblown. I hate relying on the chin because I've been burned before. Johan and Semi, but it's like every time he gets hit, his eyes roll back, man. Like his chin is quite bad. Like he's always knocked out from the punch. Sometimes he wakes up, but yeah, eyes rolling back at the head is just like it's no good. What's
Bro,
Dober gonna do to him? Dober can knock out anyone. This is
bro,
like
he's taking so much damage now too. Like after that life-changing war with RDA, on top of him already having a bad chin historically.
yeah, he has. Alrighty, let's finish this off. Roman Dolidze, the Caucasian, my favorite nickname, versus Nasruddin Imavov, Russian sniper. What do you say, sir?
Yo, they can't let the Caucasian win on Black History Month. Come on now. It's got to be they must have scheduled this on purpose. I see a bunch of people are on Dolidze as the underdog. And I get why, because he's looked much improved in his past couple fights. But for me personally, I like the Imavov side. I think he's going to use his speed, footwork, and technicality to outpoint Dolidze. I think Imavov is improving just as much as Dolidze has. I think his ceiling is higher because of his age. He's 27. He's at a good camp. And going back and watching Dolidze's old fights and watching Imavov's old fights, the biggest difference that stuck out to me was just how much faster Imavov is. And he's got a beautiful 1-2, great jab. And Dolidze doesn't know how to defend a jab, really. He's just super hittable. But he's a tank himself, and he'll walk through damage to give it out. So I get the sentiment on him, but for me personally, just the way I envision the fight playing out is Imavov's going to easily be able to land on him. Even the later the fight goes, I think he's going to be able to use his explosiveness and we saw him go 5 with Strickland. We haven't seen Dolidze go 5. Dolidze's cardio did look better against Vettori, but Vittori's a fucking punching bag. Like, he has no footwork at all, no finesse, and there was no grappling in that fight. So, all things considered, I think Imavov should be like minus 200 personally.
That's interesting. I can't say I agree with that personally. Yeah, I guess I could give him favorite, but this is one of those ones I'm struggling quite a bit. There's a lot of questions. I'm not really a fan of Imavov, to be honest. I just don't think I think he should be ranked, and he's a very well put together fighter, as you said. But there's something missing there for him to take the step into the upper echelon. I will say, you said he hits a lot of jabs, and I do agree that was Dolidze's issue. But that Vettori fight, upon rewatch, he dodges so many jabs, and he just kept countering him over the top. I also thought that was a robbery. All right, that round 1 was clear, Dolidze. Round 2, sure, you can give it to Vettori because the leg kicks was the only thing that happened. And then round 3 again, he just kept pressuring. Every single jab Vettori threw, he dodged, he pull countered and threw it over the top. He's I'm seeing a lot of improvement every single fight from Dolidze. So I've never seen that kind of striking or that kind of defense from him before, especially on the front foot. We've seen him get dropped by a jab by Giles before, and Allen was like lighting him up on the feet too. So yeah, the dude's improving. Obviously, probably training with Strickland helps a lot. They go hard in sparring. Sparring is the best thing for improvement. But yeah, I mean, I just can't envision much value on this line on Imavov. Like, the dude is quite hittable himself, but with his low hands, and he's good at rolling with the punches. But his level of competition, and routinely drops rounds. Drops rounds to Buckley when he slows down, and 4-1 on one judge's scorecards to Strickland off the couch. Not even a game plan. Just Strickland just came in there and brawled with him, completely out of shape. His love handles and stuff. And yeah, just Ian Heinisch, who hasn't fought since. Edmund, who just notoriously breaks. Chris Curtis, I'm not high on Chris Curtis at all. We just seen him get his ideal matchup against MAB, and he went to a split decision somehow. Like, he really should have knocked out MAB. He's a limited fighter. But yeah, I just thought, no, he lost to Phil Hawes, for God's sakes. That's all that needs to be said. He still gets held up against the cage a lot, which, that's not probably ideal for judges. It's all about damage these days. But Dolidze still dishes out all the damage, right? Imavov just strikes me as this kind of a pretty point fighter, and his cardio is also dreadful. One round in against Strickland, he's already looking at the cage, and Strickland's the one on short notice. So I don't know. It's a dog or pass for me, but it's like, how does the whole 5-round dynamic, and I still respect Imavov's skill set, so I don't want to just play the dog in Dolidze, and then he's maybe pacing himself for rounds 1 and 2, and then just loses based on a couple of leg kicks and a couple of jabs, because his volume is something that has always been an issue, but he's kind of fixed it against Vettori. He just came in there and just pressured a lot and threw a lot, so he looked decent there. And yeah, Vettori's a lot more durable. Like you said, he's a blockhead, and he was still wobbling in round 1, and he had a few big shots in round 3. So if the crowd's going crazy, yeah, those could be the rounds for Dolidze. But I don't know, man. Imavov usually grapples as well. I don't think he wants to go to the ground with Dolidze. I think Hermansson, and in my opinion, he beat Vettori. Hermansson and Vettori wins are just better than anything Imavov has done. So Dolidze has at least proved himself against the upper echelon to me. But yeah, I just still can't lock it in. The 5-round thing, the 5-round thing is stopping me, and maybe just the little fact that I'm underestimating Imavov. But I just don't feel there's much value on that line personally, with his cardio and level of competition. So no strong takes, man. I assume you already played Imavov if you said he should be minus 200.
Yeah, I played him at minus 155.
Yeah, nice. I'll probably look into something like a decision poke for him, just because I feel like he's going to dance around for the most part.
I mean, if you thought that, why don't you just play the over?
Because I'm scared of the Dolidze finishing upside.
It sounds like you should just play Dolidze. It sounds like you kind of favor him slightly.
Yeah. That's the best. That's the best value at the moment, because he's the dog, and the overs are minus money. Like, I didn't really expect that. Like, they feel accurate.
Well, what about GTD? I think these two are like two of the most durable guys in the division.
See, I agree about that on Imavov. The dude is like, the only time I've seen him hurt was when Jordan Williams headbutted him, and he instantly recovered. But it's not like Roman can't finish anyone in sub. But I don't know if Roman's that durable, man. Like that jab against Trevin Giles.
Yeah, that did rock him.
It was bad. And I was like, I've been fading this guy early a lot. I lost a bit of money fading Dolidze because of that, because of the lack of output, lack of defense, and the chin issues. But I've stopped. I stopped like 3 or 4 fights ago, because I'm like, all right, this guy, he's a bit like Duplessis. 1 or 2 fights, I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting in the way of these two. Whereas a lot of people still call them meme merchants, and they still fade him. But I don't know, man. I'm not. Yeah, this is a fight that I'm just gonna leave. Again, I got like 3-4 dogs on the card. Why force it?
Yeah.
Good luck. I think this feels like a good live bet personally. 5-rounder dynamic. They might be patient. I think we get swings, back and forth swings. So yeah.
I think I probably should have led with that, but I've only bet on Imavov in previous fights, and I've only bet against Dolidze in previous fights. So I'm kind of like more of a believer. I'm more of a believer, and Imavov has come through for me as an underdog against Ian Heinisch, Jordan Williams. So I've been riding the train for a while. I haven't bet him on every fight, but I had a massive bet on him against Buckley. I just knew he was going to win. So yeah, I guess I've been higher on him historically, so I'm just continuing to ride that train.
Yeah, I actually played him against Williams too. But then pissed me off is I played him against Phil Hawes as well. So, yeah. And then I faded him against Sean Strickland. Other than that, I think I stayed away. I actually played Chris Curtis. And, yeah, kind of opened my eyes how bad Chris Curtis is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he used the grappling there. That fight was low volume. And his round 1 against Buckley was low volume until Buckley shot in. And it's like he's kind of low volume and he uses grappling. He's quite good on the ground. I'll give him that. He's great jiu-jitsu on the ground. But I don't know, man. Overthinking it, I feel. Alrighty. Did you want to break down this road to UFC quickly or no?
I didn't tape those. Are the odds out on that?
They just came out today on Bet Online, I think.
Okay, so are they doing the road to
It's
the
like
UFC?
right after this UFC card.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna tape those after we get off.
Yeah, easy. We'll move on. All right. Do you want to do your 2 favorite bets, or best bets?
I forgot you do that.
I'll do it first then.
Yeah,
I have to give Lee because that's my only 1 unit shot. Sure, it's not pick 'em anymore, but you can still get Bet365. Let me check. Fuck, everything's frozen. Sweet. You can still get like $1.70 on Bet365, I think. So I think he's got big favorite upside. And then, I've got Radtke. I've got Radtke as a dog. I've got Dober as a dog. You know what? I like Dober, man, as my favorite dog, to be honest. So I'm gonna go Lee, Radtke, Lee, Dober, and you know what? Some Pete Rodriguez. I'm gonna give out Pete Rodriguez. That's 3 best bets. So why not?
Nice. I'll go with Radtke and the meatball sub. I'm feeling the meatball sub this week, and the number is quite juicy. So hope you guys are hungry. Bring an appetite this weekend, and we'll all eat on the meatball sub. But thanks for having me, Steve. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And yeah, I was about to close the show out for you.
My bad. It froze on me, and it just pissed me off that I couldn't click and talk to you with the last 10 seconds. Yeah. So you got Radtke and meatball sub, right?
Yeah.
What's that price, man? I didn't even ask you what the sub price is.
Plus 900.
Whoa, jeez, that's worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, for sure. It's because she doesn't have any professionally, but this is a huge step down. So yeah, I think it's a perfect spot for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I was on Procopio against her, and I was sweating. That armbar was deep.
Yeah,
she will go for it, and yeah, but Belbita will go for takedown. Yeah, might have to tell, bro. Yeah, I hope we both hit both our best bets because we overlap, and hopefully it's a big day, man. I feel confident despite all the dogs. Anything to add before we go?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me on, and I'll talk to you soon.
Easy peasy. Thanks for coming on. Like and subscribe, and enjoy my outro.